eno mind Ghana wo ento oni mpanyimfo atena se edi nyema gugu akwema impono o ma hye wo mind Ghana Attorney General eye onimonyafo eye Dr. Dominic Ayini say wono so emfa nkrata emra bonte no ye draft bill eba bonte bebo mind Ghana japade ho ban ne show mind Ghana japade na say yensa ase eni so obi kra betina aban mu na we fra aban na hye ne ahodo mbekura nyina no say wo bill eba ho ban eno nkoye ensem bebre Ghana man panika say mu na dead be face say wo mind Ghana eniema e won empempi ne akwanten kro bo sa kwakodi dinkrofo bi nsa ansonwa Ghana man pani eso sa kire say wo sa de bi ofofro asa ba bonte eno so eba katache dream kankan ye ne proye no eba ho ban se ne ebe ya atremufo ebetete o mind Ghana edwumedi aye die nyina ase.
Cabinet approved the new National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan 2026 to 2030 for onward transmission to Parliament. I'm also happy to announce to you that yesterday Cabinet took a decision directing the Attorney General to draft a bill for the protection of state assets. It's called the State Assets Protection Bill. It shows the guidelines under which any state assets can be disposed, including lands, buildings, state assets, factories, industries, so that no government just capriciously disposes of state assets.
Yes, Abo! Mothers FM!
Onwanya for John Dramani Mahama, one Ghana man penny ne any equity.
2026 annual labor conference so akodo ewo framanto mu na we na hwana so afọ oye onyonyamfo James Gunoza Sambitu go che dem pemprinzi nenyo a Japan de enhyiemu bia otedam no wotum ba ebe ye hwan empesia so a nankasa na ogina dwumezi nenyo agye ankasa na dwumezi na ase no so oya za mpanyimfo ekukudam bepie mu wo ho a ni na wo boa ema hiane mpuntu nsam akodo wo man Ghana no etum akoye ankasa mesi mo ba ye a yenkita wudin nsam yen sikasam no ho ni narabotum akonka nti onyonyamfo nansam bia ozutu gwani.
We are particularly honored that the voter region was chosen to host a conference that brings together government, employers, organized labor, and other key stakeholders to deliberate on issues that are central to Ghana's economic transformation and social progress. Your Excellency, the theme for this year's conference, strengthening industrial harmony as a catalyst for accelerated economic growth and national development, is both timely and instructive. The theme reminds us that sustainable national development cannot be achieved through isolated effort. Lasting progress is built through partnership, dialogue, a shared commitment to the common good. It requires institutions and individuals to come together, appreciate differing perspectives, and work collectively towards solutions that advance our national interests. Consensus building does not suggest that we will always agree to every issue. Rather, it reflects our willingness to engage one another with mutual respect, to negotiate in good faith, and to place the welfare of our nation above sectional interests.
Tie voter regional minister oye onyonyamfo James Guno in Ozensembi atuga oneshe so minister for labor, jobs and employment Rashid Pelpo so dan sambi to go che dem pemprenze ni na akwawie mu de yebeye odo na yebobu ye ho dwumeza yebeze no etum prepare yeso etum adaho amanye no se dem pemprenze Ghana man pen na yinsuade hu ne ye na yebotum ye gina do na ya yenzama bia obetwe ye abobo ahen.
So the 2026 by government alone, nor by employers organized labor acting separately. It requires a strong partnership among employers organized labor acting separately. It requires a strong partnership among all tripartite partners anchored in mutual respect, shared responsibility, and common national purpose. It is for this reason that the government remains committed to strengthening social dialogue as the foundation of sound labor governance. Our role is to ensure that workers concerned are heard, the legitimate interests of employers are recognized and disputes are resolved through fair, lawful, and credible mechanisms in the national interest. It is the reason why Her Excellency, along with the government, are committed in ensuring that strikes become a thing of the past.
Enza ye Abdul Rashid Pepo no Sambi Atuga Oneshi so President Magana Employers Association Dr. Nana Emmanuel Edusa Kwadie Efriye no so Sambi to go chede Jumeza woye no tiro dadu ye strengthen industrial harmony as a catalyst for accelerated economic growth and national development. Ani na wobua Miss Mobeya yeni Jumeza ye bezi bobua mejuma so abebebre Miss Mobeya mbebu benye juma ye na afi so yene sikasam no so botum
This year's conference, Strengthening Industrial Harmony as a Catalyst for Accelerated Economic Growth and National Development, is a proposition employers endorse unreservedly. Countries with robust social dialogue institutions, low rates of industrial conflict, and high levels of tripartite cooperation consistently record superior outcomes in terms of investment, employment, labor productivity, and inclusive economic growth. Industrial peace is therefore a profound economic infrastructure of the highest order. And I would like to touch on the following to give effect to the theme: a national home ownership strategy for the 24-hour economy. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, discussion on industrial harmony cannot be complete without addressing what remains one of Ghana's top pressing national priorities. That is the urgent need to bridge the huge housing deficit that confronts this nation. A decisive policy to address this challenge will occasion one of the most transformative implementation actions under the 24-hour economy program, for which the association commends Your Excellency for initiating. It is imperative to indicate that a nation is not measured by the wealth it holds in its vaults. It is measured by how many of its people have a housing deficit stands at an astonishing 1.8 million. While successive governments have made attempts to resolve this persistent challenge, the result has either been the provision of houses that rather appear too expensive before the ordinary worker.
Mothers FM, yes, some pa.
Enza ye Nana Dr. Emmanuel Edusa Kwadie Efriye no Sambi Zichato.
And some training the Larry Dogbe Pempa Yaka say the apostle for Ashe na court Ashe se won kotri abanku kumu eda enson. Ni na kowie se aseme wa se midi bia court enkan wie no. Eno no de no kra de ba ko wa krata wo ye adwuma wo mu no wo de ba bonten. Na court Ashe se asem asem di bia empempini ane ye nka ho asem. If the court na ka se embua asem enwie ye. Na court HRS sa ensemi a judge whatna asem say Justice Isaac Edu HRS won monyan for a year Larry Dogbe yi ensema wotro ye abrana court no embua asem no a year Petra Co SA enne a year Kelvin Ochery and sankrofo we ensem yenu e court embua ye ntino wono e publish ya na enam emrakwan so and say they contempt kase e na ache na court ache se wonko no nkontwe abanku kumu a year 7 days. Na sa ensemi eba bonten no amansem trofo bebre aka ho eno enna ma lawyer wo science training etrese empepi ya na ensem trofo echi omonsagu omachi ensem bi wo ho apese oka ho asempa efise si etna efidie nsui na ensem abade a yeso de ebeka na enso sa emra a ewo ho ninti yase court nka asem de a wontimi enka binti ni achi yensa egu yachi onmonyafo etrese eno nya de ebeboa empo etrese semtro for fa hodie no enna omo ensa enkan we ye onmonyafo Samson Ladi wono so enchemu ode bai efa ensem no eni.
And one other have been sued by Kevin Ochery and the company Springfield have been sued for defamation. And the allegation is that while the suit was pending, they kept making publications that bordered on the subject of the suit, not the suit. And then they took out an application for injunction to stop them from continuing to make publications while the suit was pending. And they successfully procured the order of injunction. After they got the order of injunction, then the publications didn't stop. And so that is what led to the contempt application. Because basically speaking, contempt in this sense will mean that you have been stopped or prevented by the court from doing something, and you have disobeyed the court and continue to do the thing that you have been prevented from doing. So they went to the court with an application to cite Larry for contempt, and he unsuccessfully defended it, and today the decision was rendered.
Any kokotie a lawyer Samson Ladini ni any kotie no sa and semi babontino Ghana Journalists Association for so edom ho jim omodi omokai nan say enam so man Ghana emra and the boy ho ban ti so and association so e wo mra na so court emra no omo ni omo legal advisor betena say no matietie mu se ne ebe ya there's a edito near the ato wo show omo nkrato modi aba abontina de omokai nan say onmo nyam for a year dogbe ekansem trofo jumedi anasensem trofo nhemudi e wo man Ghana ha say no wodi motentima pa eye eno nti eno mo so mo ne omo legal team betena say no mo hwe eniema impo no afro for sa ensem we nyina ama court ahye say won kwotwere mu enda enson ompie ba na face wode etu ne hofo no ensem trofo nkabom ko wo man Ghana ha penyi oda no ena impo trotro ni ema ensem trofo nkabom ko han tre say sa emra no ena ema legal team so atena say no modi baby de emrane to no e de ato
Executive Secretary Zima Public Utilities Regulatory Commission or PEG for Dr. Shafiq Suleiman Pemprenzi or Sambi Atugo Shede Yenam Kania Honsen Semno or Yaza $92 million na Busumbiara was shame and Pemprenzi or Sambi Atuga Washede. Damo one living away if you don't pempo copy more a war as Parliament no or Yaza was in Sambi to go watch it. Says yes, can one city no Wajam Wenyan 8 billion Banina Yaza on Sunambum Kauda. Na was a IPP for no Oyaza was a church on a cow na gas for no Oyaza the Missikin now was a show on a sena face so finance ministry Yaza was war Miss Mobaya Yenam Kanya number 2 Asian Nado Danny Dana
on finance the 1 cedi on the petroleum products that was passed. So that has been used, and I think there's a report to Parliament that I've come across from finance and I've gone through. So that money has accumulated. If you see, that's accumulated about 8 billion. So they've used that 8 billion to pay off most of the arrears. We've not paid all the arrears from the IPPs. Most of the arrears for the IPPs. We've also used some of it to pay to get back the risk guarantees on the Sankofa Jinyame gas production, and then we've also paid off the accumulated debt that was putting Ghana's credit rating at a very terrible outlook. So we've restored that World Bank risk guarantee with ENI. So it's now making Ghana look so good, and our credit rating has also taken shape. I think we've also used that amount to pay for the cost of the gas, the 70 million to the gas suppliers, to the to Jubilee, not to the 10, not to the Sankofa partners. Then we are also paying to the Jubilee partners gas supply.
Enza Dr. Shafiq Suleiman Northern Sambi Atuga Biumso or the Sambi to go shed and Pemprenzi or Yaza Obama Nzama to turn in Zama Bebrena to turn out Queen Miss Mobeya. Light on and some young Queen and some nafish will be unquestioned towards a smooth way no but to throw a baby or daughter Miss Mobeya yes young Botum Atuan taxes and the Maynarano or Yaza or Boshamani Nara etum akonkan.
Aside the multi-year tariff review process, we also take the opportunity to relook at we call them rate setting guidelines. So from 2025, we reassess our rate setting guidelines and updated them to make sure that they are up to date and they are reflective of standardized rate setting guidelines in other jurisdictions. So the guidelines we have total total cost. Basically, more or less, we are looking at a total cost of an item. Then we are looking at the builder of the total cost. Here, we are looking at cost of generation, cost of transmission, and cost of distribution. And then there are some other levies that comes with it. Regulatory levy, some taxes that comes with it. And then you have a markup. A factor that is a little bit difficult. So more or less a variable that you can hardly predict. So you have that also being added. It can be added or subtracted looking at the variations. So we've improved or we've updated the rate setting guidelines, and I'm sure they are also on our website. You can have access to them to see the new.
Mothers FM, yes, some pa.
Inza ye Dr. Shafiq Suleiman no zane busy too gwa.
Afe yemfa kase no yemfa ye ni entrem wo MPP amanyoko na kachie. Bosumi ewo mu ya na enkane asin central march bedwani wono nyamfo Kennedy Japan edi na woda na woda no de achede bebre ekoche aposifo akache wo wiye no eno de ni etremu 37 military hospital esokoye adoye kese ewo ho na eho na nsem ebo pinin no ebusa ne nsem bebre emoyi ano na nsem baako a yebusa ye ma wono nyamfo Kennedy Japan eyi ano eye Afari military hospital no wasante mantem ye name says Afari military hospital yi ehon nsem bebre na no kra mponi sedom kuma no bisu ko ho se ka hospital no kra wo kwa akose ekowi a se akoda ne ensem bebre obi a fe munye no obi ade so bo ebo no yonko eno no munyafo Kennedy Japan ye busa no no se ne mekasa ne kasa emodi okan na ne se on bet na akunya kese so mfie wotwe na Afari hospital no de no mo ye fa ho na ND semanyako na ba mu eye afe ne bosumi bebre kire ni a mo say omo na eso mo ya Afari hospital eni okasaye na ne nsem ka ye enu adai MPP amanyako no nekfo ekohie mu e wa Lisa hotel won kana pumpini mountain ma say e dwenje amanyako no ye die ni mpuntuo impo se na ebe ya 2028 omo bet na akunya kese so a on betia ni abre ko tafo bebre na abai omo so me kan na say Ken must go and ye Ken must go omo kasai pa yenko ti omo nsem no mo kan ye ni bi
This party can do without Kennedy Japan. We don't even understand what is so special about Kennedy Japan. The neck don't want to talk the truth. The same this neck kick Kobina and Afoku. Why they cannot kick Kennedy? He have to go. Because he have to go. He have to go. He have to go. He has to go and leave this party because what he's saying is killing this party. We have to wake up and protect this party. He's killing the party because he's telling false. He's telling false. He's saying that at very levels and all what manner is saying. He went on air and said that he is going to kill this party. He's even not going to follow the party again. So what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Somebody who came out and tell the people that he's not food to follow you again. So why are we going to maintain him? We don't need him. He have to go. We are sick and fed up with him. Yes. He's selling a lot. How many? He used to give us the check. He give the party. How much did he give the party? He should come and tell us, and we will also bring the contract the party has given it to him. He and his wife.
Natural say MPP amanyako ni bi titafo ne ekoti omo ne no Ken must go na ne eno no na so monyafo Kennedy Japan ye hwine to akonya kora emfiri amanyako ruti omo sem kan na se po afoko de no ye twan to fi amanyako ni monto mo so mo kan na nsa ne sa de a ye de ayepo de ye mfanya Ken na sa ensemba abontin na national organizer emma MPP amanyako no eye Henry Nanabuache na bi won so aka say kire say enkane asin central march bedwani impo no person to franka edema MPP amanyako no nyafo Kennedy Japan Omode enkrata anase omatebili no edne ko disciplinary committee so omon frɛ no no mon to na no entitime tafo no enkomakoma entomuyem na sa ensuye na eba ya bra neckfo enhyemudi a na ekoso enra de ya Ken must go ekoso no eno ena ma eye onomnyamfo Harry na naboache efe na bi ede sa ensem so ba abonten.
Once there are petitions, what is important is that you have to refer whatever the merits are. So refer the matter to the disciplinary committee. The most important thing is that the report from the disciplinary committee will be a subject matter for NEC and the National Council to consider afterwards. And that is where we can really speak to it. So as it stands now, the position is that we are referred all petitions received regarding Honorable Kennedy Japan's comments to the National Discipline Committee, and we have given them 2 weeks because we wanted to really make sure that in 2 weeks we deal with this matter. So in 2 weeks, National Executive Committee will receive the report, and then we will again convene a meeting for us to discuss these matters.
How many petitions are we talking about, and from when?
I mentioned that some individuals, some party people, and then also some members of parliament as well. Yes, we were just told that there have been some petitions and from some party persons, and then also some members of parliament. There the whole time. So whatever happened outside, I cannot speak to it. I'm here to be briefed by our party security, and also some people. But I can say that I did not see it. I don't really want to comment on it when I don't have the full details of what happened.
Mothers FM, yes, some pa.
National Organizer MPP Amanyoko no Monyamfo Henry na Naboache na Nabi ne enyekotie no.
Ancha biara na yoha na yehu de bole SHS chichenyi bi wa ya abofra bi nzama bi a ontwe ye ma no so abagine he e wa abefo ntintenfiri do na ye hwa onhwe kora na we na nam do ma 2025 African Academic Freedom Monitoring Report so ababoto gwa wo che de bibi man ha oye on my Ghana na African countries no oyaza damanza mano yaza orokodi ye ankasa na em da Ghana fo no na wozinkan Ghana fo na wozinkan a panyini a oye kojo apiaje to your regional director Zima African Coalition for Academic Freedom as in sambi at go to them pemprenzi or yaza ontwe ye kura anti painful from one nisifum a chacha from one from one nisifum no one chama from an kwanapa na maframa ni bi wo mpo yaza no so wo na ba wa beka no or yaza or yazin mo honye ankasa o sende obi wo be de oyim gwase ni che no so bogu ni asenti maframa ni bi ma wonka na we in painful as in sambi at go watch da chacha from me ni fo no yin esua from besiafo no da ma na na orokodo ye na maframa ni bi mo mpeda obaka wonka osende oyim gwase na boye no owura kojo apiaje etua asensamezu tugwa.
There are also issues about sexual harassment in terms of especially relationship between academics and students, where students complain about, especially female students who are being at the mercy of some academics for marks, to get marks or to reward them for some other favors and so on. But most of the students are not able to report. Every university in Ghana now has what you may call an anti-sexual harassment policy, but still it's not very effective because students are not reporting. And it's of interest to know that this year my students are doing a project on sexual harassment as the Academic Freedom Project. So I think it's a way to highlight the fact that there are some weaknesses in the laws on sexual harassment, and also when it comes to implementation, there's a challenge. Comparatively, if you look at the state of academic freedom on the continent generally.
Enza ye ye ora kojo apiaje tua northern sambi tugwa onetri no so titles owusu da ko oye NUC secretary for innovation entrepreneurship na face skills development so den sambi atugo chede inkran pumpuni mantom hampanyin for na face stakeholders bebre na baka won ho abo mes mo beya enza mo bia oto dem wotum aso ano na wa hye mo frama no kwanampa mes mo beya dachi no wo so wetum abaye empanyin fopa.
We are committed to partnering with all the CSOs, most importantly the African Coalition for Academic Freedom, and contribute our quota to this particular development. We believe in advocacy, and so as the APEC students body representing over 13.5 million Ghanaian students, both home and abroad, we are willing to contribute our quota, support everything that we can do in our capacity to support this particular development so that the present issues would be dealt with.
102.7 Inza yekwekwetie ye ora Titus owusu da konos in some music chart.
Afe yefe ni nchemo ashama neno wo enkna pumpuni mante maseye wudu ashama ya brono ye friends se eje kojo kanewu wa mafu ate woni ashenkafo chajajo once okay nice walk kwan atete se kontebe na enye portu obi meye manho wo mo sempanyimfo pa se ye na se o chesunyama mo cha mo na so nkrofo so mo twomani emehwe mo so pa bi efi se ye kasa kwan wo man gan ha se titiw ni enkna pumpuni mante masaya ansha wo mfa wo nsa encho mo kwan ne so wo mo akosem eni
6 months we pay road weight and the road is now headed to our car. The insurance, we do pay everything. Last, my road weight died on 18th and I went there on the 19th. They asked me to pay 990. So instead of 120, I paid 250. We are paying all those things, but still they didn't do nothing about the road. And look my car. Look the car, the treasure of the car, everything damaged.
MPs and the DCs, they come here. So if we vote for them, they will do the road. As now, we are almost 2 years. They haven't done anything on the road. Always we have faced.
Ghana man paying na face wa fortune hena pomize ho nsem pemprenze wo so anesefo edwasan 30 hona se Miss Mobaya obeye PhD program ni bi Miss Mobaya hena pomize ho nsem wo man mu botum akonkan bebre na we no nyanyamfo anaso afo oye kwabna minta akano den nsem bi tugwa mbro kokopie mo matriculation ceremony okodo e won krempempuni manto mu e na odin nsem tugwa che den pemprenze wo boa Miss Mobaya hona dusua no botum akwaeshi bebre.
Our vision is to produce additional nurses, specialists to fill the critical gaps within our healthcare system locally and also to support the managed migration policy of the government. Achieving this requires investment in infrastructure, equipment, human resources, and system strengthening. There is introduction of competent
Enza yekwekwetie ye ora kobna minta akando biem so osanso de nsem bi to go chede mpemprenzi wobama anesefo no entity hona wo ye entity fa ebia yereba kote ho no mesmo be ya no so bodo so bebre be ya 1000 people na wetum abo ma hena pomzin na etum akonkan.
A minimum of 1,000 students every year. Yeah, so there's a gap in our healthcare service delivery. We lack some specialties in the system. And so we decided to train more to fill those gaps and again to also help the government labor exchange program because we have a lot of these health professionals who have
Enza yekwekwetie ye kobna minta akando so afoshe na pomize ho nsem honestly no so deputy minister zema hena pomize ho nsem ye Mami Grace ayensu dankwa no so zen nsem di twato
cardiac center miensa ya che Ghana mo miensa enye se ye besi o ya sha asisa yes bako watemali bako bewo kolebu ha na bako wo Kumasi ya che ne 3 zones upper zone, middle zone and lower zone and aye cardiac center no NCDs no enu ne bibi de wo friend Mboja Yerba
Enza yekwekwetie ye Mami Grace ayensu obaye Yerba bi ho te de Mboja Yerba bebre mesmo obaya hona adusua no botum akwankan na wetum aso ano waza amehen enti aha ena yeze ba Abadae kase ni nyinara bebesi na dwumako a woso yana ase ye KASE3 Ghana Limited nsa papa fie ona anye ha ami ameze kase boy bosomo ezina mejuda ye dwuma ida usamene
Ekwi ya kode ye bo asari sorry na live worship eso ba beto aso